Hey, welcome back. I'm Ferrikster. Here to bring you some more Pokemon Go Battle League battles. These battles are played in the Ultra League because that's what we've got now. It's everyone's favorite league, Ultra League. Yay! Yeah! Ultra League, it's back. It's fine. So, yeah. Been a lot of discussion lately, mostly on Twitter, about XL Pokemon and the ways in which people are attaining their XL candy. So, should probably just, throw my hat in the ring. I can't use DFit because I have an iPhone and you just can't do it. It's an Android exclusive app. And I tried a phone rocker for a little bit and it got like a kilometer or something. But the problem with a phone rocker for me is that you can't have your phone plugged in when it's on there. So, I actually need my phone because, I work and stuff. So I can't let my phone be walking itself to death at night and not be powered enough in the morning. So I'm not really a prime candidate for the use of either of those things. So I am forced to get my XL candy the old-fashioned way, the slow way, walking your Pokemon, catching things like that. For those who don't know what DFit or phone rockers are, good for you. Probably better off. They're just ways of cheating to get extra XL candy. And it's cheating. But is it any more cheating than having a Gocha is cheating, or using, I don't know, scanners or something, or having a friend do their mass trades for you because you don't feel like you have time? All of those things are cheating. Obviously some of them, like spoofing, are worse than the others, and some of them are enforced, like spoofing, which is the only one that's enforced. Every other one, Niantic will look the other way. So, I don't know. I guess it's fine. I guess I don't really care. That's really what it comes down to. Some people are very up in arms about other people doing it because it gives them a minor unfair advantage, but it's a game, guys. It's fine. It's okay. You can't stop them from doing it. So, in any ordinary war or something, you just it's just escalation, They start carrying semi-automatics, you carry automatics, they start wearing Kevlar, you have to use armor-piercing rounds. It's just escalation. They buy a phone rocker, you start using DFit. It's just, people are going to use the tools that are available to them. It's no one's fault that the system is designed like this, except for Niantic. They found ways to get you a resource that's supposed to be exclusive XL candy and to make it slightly less exclusive so that people could get it. And everyone was very happy when they did that, and it immediately led to problems because, you have an exclusive resource that from some people are just finding more efficient ways to farm than are supposed to be existent in the game. But it's going to happen, and we all just have to learn to live with it and stop being so toxic on Twitter. Just kind of, move on, remind ourselves that it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. It's okay. So, So about this team, right, that I'm running, I'm leading Gallade. I have led Gallade before. I'm not sure if it's pronounced Gallade or Gallade. Just don't know. Seem to alternate those. And I have Swampert in the back. My Swampert is a rank 2 and a shiny. So it actually has very, very good IVs, which matters almost only in the Swampert versus Swampert matchup. You just need to have a Swampert that has very good IVs. Doesn't have to be top 10. But I think top 50 or so is probably the cutoff where it would start to hamper you if you were lower than that in the Swampert versus Swampert matchup. Because with lower IVs, you can't really survive 2 Hydro Cannons in the one shield, and with really, really good IVs you can. So it helps for that matchup, otherwise it probably doesn't matter as much, and I am running a Scavalier in the back also. A Scavalier and Swampert do an okay job. They're not hard counters to the things that Gallade is weak against, which is mostly Charmers. Flyers, actually, Gallade's not really that bad because the confusion damage adds up pretty quickly. Close combat, even when it hits for resisted, hits pretty hard. So Gallade can hold its own against a lot of things. That's one of the reasons I really enjoy running it in the lead. It gives me a lot of, options to force my way into switch advantage which helps if you're running a balanced team, not something that's ABB. So switch advantage actually matters. I think Gallade is fantastic for that. So the Gallade into Swampert matchup, I would say Gallade is slightly favored just because the Leaf Blade will one-shot, and you can survive the first Hydro Cannon, no problem. I throw the second Leaf Blade in this matchup, and I get my opponent's second shield. And then I switch into my own Swampert to absorb this energy. So, because my Swampert has very good IVs, I can survive 2 Hydro Cannons, plus the associated Mud Shots. These Mud Shots, a few of them got onto Gallade instead. Oh, my opponent throws the Earthquake, which is crazy. That was a very good shield from me. And yeah, I'm just going to throw this Hydro Cannon. Not quite take him out because his IVs are decent enough to survive that. They're actually not that good. That Swampert is at 2482. And I am able to eat that Hydro Cannon and Mud Shot the whole way down. And my opponent resigns the game. I don't get to find out what was in the back. GG. So, next up, against Gary Puckin Oak. That's a fantastic name. I didn't notice that when I was going through these videos earlier. Alright, so Gallade into Talonflame. Talonflame is a pretty bad lead. Like, Flyer obviously should be very strong against Gallade. I have a specific way that I like to play this, which is I will let them throw the Flame Charge, and then I throw 1 Confusion, and then the Close Combat. So I throw 1 Confusion, then the Close Combat, because he can't sneak in a move if you throw 1 Confusion, because his Incinerate is 5 turn. And then I throw 2 Confusions, and I'm able to get 2 Confusions in the time he gets 1 Incinerate, and then is able to throw his second Flame Charge. So now I'm out of shields, throw 1 Confusion, now I'm going to throw the Leaf Blade. If this lands, then 1 more Confusion would be enough. I should not have switched out into Swampert here. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I should have just stayed in with Gallade. I would be able to throw 1 Confusion before his next... Oh, I would be able to throw the 2 Confusions to take him out before his Incinerate would take me out. So I bring in Gallade here, and he responds by switching in his Shadow Gallade. I'm going to land this Leaf Blade, and I would have liked to switch out to a Scav, but I wasn't quite able to do it. So instead I bring a Scavalier in here to try to counter down, but... he gets to his Close Combat well before I do. I am getting demolished in this game. I don't know why I'm showing you guys this game at all. I mean, it's part of this set, so I have no choice, but like, Jesus. Oof. That was brutal. Alright, still a positive set, though. Nothing can change that. Next up, against Noob Killer. So, Gallade into Togekiss. Togekiss is easily, like, the worst lead that Gallade can get. I switch out to Swampert right away, and I'm making a debatable play here, which is throwing this Hydro Cannon. I should not throw that, and I should just store up more energy to kind of see what my opponent wants to do. Like, if I had an extra Hydro Cannon here, I could really kind of force my way into switch advantage a little bit easier. Throwing this Hydro Cannon, he would have had to shield 1 by now, because otherwise he would be incredibly low. I'm going to shield here because this Body Slam plus the licks after that would end up taking me out, and I want to have the option of forcing my way into switch. So I'm going to throw this Hydro Cannon here, and honestly, it's probably best for me if he shields, because if he no-shielded that, I still wouldn't be able to Mud Shot him down. I would end up having to throw an extra Hydro Cannon. So it's actually helpful for me that he shielded that. Now I'm going to shield this Body Slam. And here I'm making a mistake, which is... that Snorlax has very little energy right now. I could have thrown 1 or 2 more Mud Shots so that I'd actually be able to reach the Hydro Cannon against this Togekiss. I honestly really, really needed to do that. Like, getting a Hydro Cannon so I could get that last shield would have made this so much easier. I misplayed that matchup. Could definitely have farmed up a little more energy against Snorlax before I took it out. So I switch into Gallade to try to catch the cross chop, and my opponent did not throw, so here he will throw the Night Slash, which hits me for neutral, so that's fine. And I kind of have no choice but to farm the whole way down, because if Togekiss comes out with Gallade still having some energy like this, I will get farmed down, and it'll be way too close to a move because it already has a decent chunk of energy. So I take Obstagoon down. I have 2 Leaf Blades stored, but my opponent sneaks in a Charm, so I'm not going to be able to throw both Leaf Blades. I'm going to be able to throw 1. If I could have thrown the second one, that maybe would have flipped this game. I would have either gotten a shield or it would be so low. But here I'm going to throw this Drill Run. I get the last shield. I would still need to reach a Mega Horn because Drill Run obviously is double resisted by the Flyer, so it would not KO. But I get hit with the Ancient Power and 1 more Charm, and it takes me out. GG. Togekiss lead, very hard. I could definitely have played that particular round better, though, in like at least 4 positions. I get a Poliwhirl, which is bad. I'm very tired of getting Poliwhirls. I have a Hundo Poliwhirl already. Really don't need a second one. You don't even really need one. And I go up to 2476. I had lost quite a few points my first day of Ultra League. Was messing around with teams on stream, and I wasn't doing amazing. So, Gallade into Umbreon. This is a maxed Hundo Best Buddy Umbreon, very expensive Umbreon. No shade to this trainer, though. Umbreon is definitely an available XL Pokemon. My team happens to use no XLs. Again, I seem to make a lot of these really accessible teams for Ultra League, but like, yeah, there's no real reason that I haven't built the Umbreon yet. I have the candy for it. I don't know. I'm used to using the Ultra League Pokemon that I already have. So, switching to Scavalier, and he switches out, and there's an Alolan Ninetales back there. So this is not a response to a Scavalier, not at all. So I should have read into this and seen the Alolan Ninetales and been like, okay, so if he doesn't have an amazing answer, then I should probably have shielded the Dazzling Gleam, because, you know, I could get to two drill runs. Like, clearly he doesn't have an amazing answer to a Scavalier. So out comes a Clefable with 2 shields. So I'm going to send in my Swampert. If you key in this matchup onto PvPoke or any simulator, there is no possible way that you can mess around with IVs or you know, fast move, timing, being efficient or otherwise. There's no way for Swampert to get to the 4th Hydro Cannon and actually manage to take this in the 2 shield. But in real life, it actually can be done. You have to have perfect fast move timing and perfect fast move denial. These skills are very, very important. I can't stress it enough. If you throw 3 mud shots, then they throw 2 charms in that same amount of time. So if you just always throw your move on even numbers of charm, 2, 4, 6, 8, doesn't matter, and fast move deny perfectly so that they don't sneak in a charm, Swampert can actually take that matchup. Like, the simulators will show you that that's an impossible matchup, but it just happened. It can clearly be done. Just from a mechanics perspective, fast move timing and fast move denial, understanding and mastering those 2 skills, like really getting a good grip on the mechanics of the game, can really allow you to do a lot of things that, you know, cannot be done otherwise. But all right, so into this next game. This opponent opened with Empoleon and swapped into Kingdra. So this is most likely Empoleon Double Dragon. It's a very popular team. I think one of the most popular teams right now. I could have switched out at any point, really, into a Scavalier, but I opted to just kind of stay in because, I mean, Escavalier and Swampert both have pretty decent matchups against Empoleon, and I mean, the dragons in the back are actually more of the problem because, you know, they have a pretty good matchup against Swampert and a decent-ish matchup against the Scavalier. Octazooka got the debuff. It always gets it against me. 50-50 shot, so it hits me every single time. And now I'm going to send out a Scavalier. My opponent swaps into Empoleon, so I'm going to throw this Drill Run before he's able to launch a charge move to at least force that shield out of him. Now I will Mirror Shield. The unfortunate thing is that this Empoleon already had a ton of energy, so it will be able to get to the his next Hydro Cannon before I'm able to get to my next Drill Run. I opt to shield here, and here's actually a special use case where I make a mistake. I should have thrown this Drill Run immediately into this Empoleon. Because if I farm all the way down, this Dragonite will be able to throw its Dragon Claw, win CMP, and take me out with all that energy, and I don't get counter damage or anything else in. If I had thrown my Drill Run against the Empoleon right away, he probably would have gone down, but Dragonite would have come out, and I maybe would have had a chance to absorb his energy or get to a charge move. As that was, I left myself without a window to victory there because it just... Swampert wouldn't have been able to get to 3 Hydro Cannons against Dragonite. As much as Swampert might be damn good at getting to the Hydro Cannons, it's not that good at getting to the Hydro Cannons. I guess it was against Clefable, though. So, Gallade into Gyarados. This is fine for Gallade. Most Gyaradoses are running Aqua Tail and Crunch. If they bait here with the Aqua Tail, you survive it. It was very risky for me to no-shield it, and that confusion actually took the Gyarados out. I really thought it was going to survive with like 1 HP and throw its next Aqua Tail. That would have been expected. But yeah, that's one of those cases where, as the Gyarados, having slightly better IVs would have made a big difference because they would have been able to throw that Aqua Tail. My opponent sends out Shadow Machamp into Gallade, which is not a Gallade counter at all, and subsequently then resigns the game, even though could definitely have just countered me down from there, taking just one more confusion of damage. I think that I would have played that out, but I don't know what they had in the back. So, Gallade into Shadow Swampert. For what it's worth, Swampert and Shadow Swampert have been the most popular leads I've been seeing for the last day or two. So many of them. Same with the non-shadow. I can no-shield the first Hydro Cannon. My opponent switches out to Galvantula, and I'm going to throw this Leaf Blade before I switch out. I get the shield, so that's fine. If I hadn't, that would have put him into Hydro Cannon range. As it is now, he's not quite in single Hydro Cannon range. I'm going to end up having to absorb this lunge, which gets him even farther out of Hydro Cannon range. I throw here, he sneaks in a Volt Switch, that's unfortunate. So he's at his next lunge. No shields there, and it gets overtaps and throws one more Volt Switch, so I'm just going to throw this Hydro Cannon in the middle of it. If he wants to throw his lunge, he's going to have to shield, and he doesn't want to give up his last shield there. So I've got my Swampert with not that much energy. His sends his Swampert back out, so I'm just going to throw this Hydro Cannon. I am still only single debuffed from the lunge, and since this is a Shadow Swampert, it will do enough to just take them out in just 2 Hydro Cannons. I switch into Gallade, and he throws his Hydro Cannon right away, so that's fantastic because Gallade was pretty much energy dry. I don't even know why I switched into there. Honestly, that was a really weird choice. But since I got that energy, now I'm going to send out a Scavalier. And I'm just going to counter the whole way down. Can shield this. And he won't be able to reach another Hydro Cannon. I can just counter him down. So he switches out into Alolan Ninetales. So Escavalier versus Alolan Ninetales. Escavalier resists every move that Ninetales has, but Ninetales is pretty spammy and is taking neutral damage from these counters. I will no shield here, whatever it is. It's just a Weather Ball. I would survive that no problem. Another Weather Ball coming in, and now I am actually starting to get dangerously low, but that leaves us Ninetales without really any energy. So I'm going to throw this Drill Run. And if he gets the shield, I would have to shield also. And that's fine. I don't think this Alolan Ice is going to be able to catch up to me, but I decide to switch out into Swampert to catch the Weather Ball Ice. It wasn't really necessary. If anything, that put me into a dangerous farm down range. I'm just barely not able to get to the Hydro Cannon. And I get Mud Shotted down, but that's fine. I'm just going to shield this Hydro Cannon that he was able to get because he was able to Mud Shot down my Swampert. And I end there with a Drill Run, ready to throw that into the Ninetales, which is energy dry because I had caught that last Weather Ball Ice on Swampert. So kind of a roundabout way to play that, looking at it. I could have just shielded the Weather Ball Ice and farmed down, and then farmed down Swampert or thrown a Drill Run into it. There wasn't really a need for me to play that in that way, but alright. So next up against Gulfstream. Gallade into Swampert again. Very popular lead. I play this the same way I play the Shadow Swampert lead, which is just I throw a random number of confusions. Sometimes I throw the Leaf Blade at 3, sometimes 4, sometimes 5. And now I'm just going to throw this Leaf Blade. I get a shield because you will do that. The main thing that you throwing at random times gets you is just it's a little less likely that they'll catch your Leaf Blade on something like a Skarmory. If I had thrown my Leaf Blade there as soon as I had it, would have caught it on Skarmory. So I am just going to switch out to my Swampert right away. This Skarmory is 2412. This is the Hundo level 51. So the Hundo rank 1 best buddy Skarmory. So against this Skarmory, just looking at it here, if I had stayed in and thrown 1 extra confusion, I would have put him down into like Mud Shot down range after this. I'm going to have to shield here, and that would happen regardless. But if I had thrown 1 extra confusion, I would actually have been able to farm him down here. So against the Skarmory switch-in, I guess the play is to throw 3 confusions with Gallade and then switch out to Swampert. Just because, you know, having been able to farm down there would have left me with so much energy. I would have been able to straight throw an Earthquake into whatever came out, even if it was Swampert. As it stands, I don't have enough, so I'm just going to let that go. Send out Gallade, and my opponent switches in. I'm throwing this Leaf Blade because I have to throw something. And then I switch out to a Escavalier to transfer the damage from that confusion. He's up to 5 confusions, so this could definitely be the close combat, but I'm going to let this go because one of the easiest ways to see a path to victory would be to, you know, for me to shield his close combat, and then I would just be able to farm him down. So managed to no shield a Leaf Blade. It's a ballsy call, but sometimes that's just what you have to do to, you know, manage to take these games that are kind of a 50-50 looking thing. If you can get a feel for how your opponent feels about their options, it can really help you to make that correct call. So that's what I managed to do there, and thankfully I wasn't like, I don't know, like mentally outplayed there. And yeah, I'm just gonna bring in my Swampert, or bring in my Gallade into the Swampert, get to the Leaf Blade, and take that out. I managed to take that game. GG. All right, so next up, oh, that's the end of this set. Okay, that's fine too. I get a Mienfoo, Mindfoo, Mainfoo. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of Pokemon names. Only really played through Red version, and there was all 8-bit sounds, so yeah. And I stopped watching the anime after they got rid of Brock. I was just like, this cannot stand. And then they brought him back, and I was like, I'm an adult, forget it. So, you know, I don't know how to pronounce a lot of the new Pokemon's names as correctly as I probably could have. So, next up, against a Kite. Gallade into Venusaur. This is a positive matchup for Gallade. He switches out into Steelix, and there was a pause before I switched out because I was like, wait. I saw the typing in the top right, and I was like, okay, that's a Galarian Stunfisk, and it turned out not to be. So, my immediate assumption, right, is that this must be an ABB team with, you know, Steelix, and the other Pokemon must be like, you know, Galarian Stunfisk, right? Like that makes sense. Unfortunately for my opponent, actually, I'm looking at this, and Escavalier literally just beats everything on the team. Just the whole team. Can't actually... None of those things would be able to stand up to Escavalier. G-Fisk would actually do the best job of it, because if you land a... if you land the Earthquake, you know, it hits for neutral, so it does pretty substantial damage. Not like these Frenzy Plants, which are literally double resisted. Gonna throw this next Drill Run here. And that would take Venusaur out, so he opts to shield. And, I mean, that's fine with me, but unfortunately I'm going to get farmed all the way down. I'm just like 2 counters shy of being able to get and throw my my next Drill Run. I sneak into Confusion, so I'm just going to shield his Frenzy Plant, and then the Confusion will register if he doesn't switch out, but he does switch out, and it's an Aggron in the back. It's an Aggron in the back. Also running Dragon Tail, so yeah, Dragon Tail Steelix, Dragon Tail Aggron. Venusaur, double dragon tailing steel things. I did not see that coming when it came out, but I hope that's working out for a Kite because, you know, I like seeing really weird, bad teams, you know, managing to make them work. That's always exciting, and it keeps the game interesting. That some people are not taking it super seriously, and, you know, defitting 1,000 XL candies. So. I didn't stop tapping when my opponent apparently lagged, because in the beginning I wasn't sure if it was, and after I had that lag during my charge move, I knew for a fact that it was, but I lose plenty of games to lag, so it's just, I don't know. It doesn't feel like the honorable thing to do to just keep tapping, but that is what almost everyone does, especially because the game can be inconsistent about giving you like visual lag where things are actually happening and you're just not seeing them, versus actual lag where nothing is happening. So my opponent lagged terribly, and I'm able to take out their G-Fisk. That G-Fisk is not like Max Hundo Best Buddy. It could get higher. And he sends out a Jellicent, which is another very expensive XL Pokemon that I do not have. Actually, I'm not sure if I've even made a Pokedex Jellicent yet. I'm pretty behind on that. But since my opponent lagged so badly, I am so far ahead of energy that I'm just going to throw these Leaf Blades, and I mean, I'm way ahead here. And my opponent resigns the game, which is definitely the right decision. When you lag that badly, it's unbelievably hard to pull it back. But I mean, that's just, you know, don't blame me. If it happens to you and someone's lagging, don't stop tapping. Just keep tapping. No one will blame you for just continuing to tap. It's just, they'll blame Niantic. And it is their fault. I mean, you know, they could definitely invest a little bit more into their servers, you know? Just a little. I know a lot of people out there buy a lot of raid passes. It's not like Niantic doesn't have money. Could pay more for servers. So, you know, there's there's that. It's this. No one will blame you. Just keep tapping. It's fine. It's just a feature of the game right now until it gets fixed. Which, you know, could never happen for all we know. But yeah, so this game, right? I won lead and I kind of won switch. So now I'm gonna send Gallade back in, and it's a Crustle in the back, which is pretty exciting. That is definitely, you know, it's a pretty off-meta pick, but it does have good matchups against a lot of things. I was surprised that I didn't see more of those, actually, in the very beginning of the season, but then again, I was also expecting to see more you know, Shadow Nidoqueen, and I have seen almost none. The poison buffs had quite an effect on Great League. It does not seem to have had any effect on the meta of Ultra League. Maybe Open Ultra is different than that, but I highly doubt that also. So then I'm going to switch into a Scavalier. And I'm just going to, yeah, just counter down this Crustle. Well, actually, no, I'm not. Sorry. I'm going to have to throw this Drill Run because I don't want to have to absorb a Rock Slide, and Venusaur comes back out. Gallade would beat Venusaur, and I don't think Venusaur would even be able to push his way through a Scavalier at that point. Even with that amount of health, a Scavalier would win that without too much difficulty. So next up against Beach with a bunch of ease. So Gallade into a Scavalier. This is not an amazing matchup for Gallade. I guess it's actually fairly neutral. I'm going to end up shielding here because this could definitely be the Mega Horn. Turns out to be the Drill Run. And he switches into Venusaur, which is fine for me. I'm going to do my confusion damage, super effective, and then I'm going to switch out. Because Venusaur resists all of Gallade's moves, I would like to save that energy and find a better target for it. So, yeah, just going to bring out a Scavalier. I caught the Frenzy Plant, but if I didn't, he would have had to throw it anyway. Frenzy Plant is the way to go. A Scavalier double resists both of Venusaur's charge moves. I mean, unless one of them was going to carry a return or something like that, but it's hard to imagine a world where that happens. Yeah, just gonna no-shield my Drill Run and let himself go down. Brings out his own Scavalier. I'm gonna throw this Drill Run. My opponent sneaks in a counter, which is unfortunate for me. I get that shield back. And if he didn't sneak down the counter, I wouldn't have made it to Drill Run anyway, so I guess that's fine. This Scavalier has a lot of energy, so I'm gonna send out Gallade, and I'm just gonna straight throw the close combat. Leaf Blade would absolutely not KO. I know he has a ton of energy, but he lets it go, and that's fantastic, and then switches in Alolan Muck. I switch into Swampert. We paused for a second because I thought he was just leaving, and then I realized that no, he's still attacking, so I continue to attack. And yeah, I'm just going to throw the Earthquake. Because of the lag here, Beach either lagged or he left. But the world will never know. And I managed to take that game. GG. Swampert would win that no matter what I threw, though. It's not like he could have shielded the Earthquake and come out on top or something. That game was over. So, next up against Bex Depogo. Gallade into Galvantula. So, this is okay-ish for Gallade. It basically comes down to, since I snuck in a Confusion, now I'm ahead on energy. So I'll be able to throw my second Leaf Blade before he throws his second lunge. So I throw this Leaf Blade, my fast move denial is totally adequate, and he does not get a Volt Switch through. Throw this Leaf Blade, I don't get a shield, so that's fine, and I should throw the Leaf Blade here, but for whatever reason I don't. Oh my god, I don't know why I didn't just throw the Leaf Blade. Could easily have, if he shielded, I would have shielded his move, and, we would have simultaneously KO'd, or I would have won that matchup. There was no reason for me to do that. Instead, I gave up switch advantage. A Venusaur comes out and counters me down, and Gallade's not healthy enough to Confusion Venusaur down to build up energy. So, basically dead weight. There was no reason for me to save him. It would have been better if I had just let him faint even. Anything would have been better than what I did. What I did was terrible. That was an awful play. Swampert, very popular, though. It's on a lot of teams. Venusaur, very popular pick. It's on a lot of teams. Not really great for my Swampert, but, I mean, I was playing Venusaur for a very long time, so, yeah. Hurts to be on the other side of that matchup, but it's okay. It's what it is. So I'm going to throw my Drill Run here right before he gets to his third Frenzy Plant. He sneaks in the Fine Whip to get there, and it lets me take him down. Shadow Machamp in the back. That's unfortunate. I'm going to throw this Drill Run. Get a shield because Shadow Machamp has to shield pretty much anything. And I'm not going to get to my next one. I should probably shield this anyway and just, do the extra counter damage or something. But honestly, at this point, none of it matters. Gallade is not healthy enough. I have a Leaf Blade stored, but that ended up not really actually being that helpful because Machamp still had a shield. And yeah, was just able to take me out. GG. That was a terrible misplay by me early on in that last... in the early parts of that matchup. I don't know why I would play the Galvantula matchup like that. You're really not supposed to. Just if you get ahead on energy, just throw your Leaf Blades. That's the way to do that. Not what I did. But yeah, I go up by some points, and I think that's actually it. Is that it? Yeah, it's the last set. All right. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Welcome back to Ultra League. Don't forget to do the things at the ends of videos that you know you're supposed to do. You know you're supposed to do them, so please do the things. Hit all the buttons. Don't make me say it. I'll catch you guys on the next one.